Tonight on CTV News, Air Canada takes flight again.
We need to regain the trust and respect of our customers.
The union is claiming victory tonight over the issue of unpaid labor. A tentative deal is reached.
I had to find new flights because I couldn't get back on Air Canada. They didn't have flights for me.
Still plenty of chaos for Air Canada travelers, the scramble for flights, and what compensation passengers are entitled to.
I said I'd go to the dump in the morning and ask them if I could go through the compost pile.
Miracle at the Mission dump, how a man found his wife's wedding rings in the middle of a pile of slimy compost.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The Air Canada strike is over. For the Flight Attendants Union fighting against unpaid labor, they're calling the tentative deal a win. Meanwhile, thousands of passengers around the world are wondering when it will be business as usual. It's been a turbulent journey from defiance to a deal. We begin our coverage with CTV's Penny Daflos. She's live at YVR. Penny, the union's strategy appears to have paid off.
Well, yeah, Mijung. I mean, they're calling this a win because they wanted to be paid for all the hours that they're actually working, and that's exactly what they got. But the 11th hour deal doesn't mean an automatic return to normal, and it's leaving some bad blood behind for some. This confrontation at the YVR picket line was ugly. After spending 5 days at the airport, tempers boiled over just hours before both sides hammered out a tentative deal at 4 a.m.
We're deeply apologetic for what's going on. We understand the impact, the profound impact that this has had.
The tarmac at YVR was a flurry of activity as crews fueled and loaded up aircraft with food and supplies and finally started getting flights back in the air. But only half of the day's scheduled departures launch, and it'll take a week to 10 days to return to normal.
Air Canada is an incredibly complex operation. We're talking 40,000 co-workers, over 250 aircraft operating to 65 countries around the world. It's not the kind of a system, unfortunately, that we can start or stop at the push of a button.
Labor leaders are calling this a major win after workers flouted a back-to-work order to maintain picket lines until Air Canada made concessions.
I very strongly hope that the message that this sends to employers and to our federal government is stay out of interference and collective bargaining and do not expect government to ride to your rescue.
I think this is a generational agreement, and Air Canada's employees have probably achieved something quite significant.
After trying to force them back to work, the federal jobs minister now says she is looking into the biggest sticking points in negotiations.
Nobody should work for free in this country. In fact, we expect to get paid for the work that we perform. And that's why I've ordered a probe into the allegation of unpaid work in the airline sector.
It's also possible this kind of agreement could ultimately benefit passengers as well.
Because now Air Canada and other airlines are really going to be incentivized to get the planes running on time. Because if they do delay for 2 hours because they haven't hired enough baggage handlers or different reasons, and people are standing on the tarmac, that's going to cost them.
As they continue to catch up on that backlog, Air Canada now has a live dashboard on their website where anybody can see exactly how they're doing on catching up flights, whether they're international or domestic. Last time I checked, it looks like they're prioritizing U.S. and Canadian flights, but the company is really emphasizing that for travelers, they really need to confirm the status of their flight before heading to any airport. Mijung.
All right, Penny Daflos reporting live tonight from YVR. The strike has been a frustrating, expensive ordeal for passengers whose flights were canceled. Many have incurred hotel and food costs and missed important events. CTV's Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria International Airport. Rob, many showed up at the airport not knowing what to expect.
You sure did, Mijung. I spoke to a young family earlier today who were expecting to be leaving by Sunday, 6 days from now. Their flight delayed significantly. A young toddler with them. They came here trying to get an earlier flight. Were some of the very few who were successful. But for many, it's been an anxious day of wait and see and just trying to figure out what to do next. Travelers rolling into the airport this morning, hoping to bump up flights to an earlier day, like the couple I mentioned, after theirs had been canceled and rebooked by Air Canada. Air passenger rights activists say airlines that canceled a flight due to a strike are required to rebook passengers on the earliest competition flight if they can get them on a flight. If they can't get them on a flight of their own within 48 hours. And they point to the pitfalls of accepting a refund as a customer rather than taking an alternative flight.
Accepting a refund may likely undermine their ability to recover for expenses incurred after they accepted the refund. So even if you are entitled otherwise to meals or accommodation or alternate transportation, it may terminate your right to further reimbursement. That's why we recommend passengers to not accept a refund under any circumstance.
Another reality for passengers impacted, experts say that under Canadian law, if it's a domestic flight like that family going to Toronto and passengers are forced to incur expenses like hotels overnight, just like they were, due to a delay or a cancellation, the airline is not on the hook for that cost. That obligation only happens if the flight is an international flight. So if you're stranded in Greece by Air Canada, waiting to come back, under Canadian law, there would be an obligation for the airline to cover that cost. But if you're flying to Calgary or Toronto and you've got an overnight here in Victoria or Vancouver, you are on the hook for that bill. The other thing they wanted you to know was that in terms of refunds, if you do opt for that, make sure that you're paid back as you had paid yourself. A voucher or a credit is not enough. Mijung.
Yeah, a lot of people may not understand what rights passengers have. So thanks for this, Rob. A class action lawsuit is in the works for Air Canada passengers affected by the strike. The lead plaintiff in the proposed lawsuit was rebooked on a flight 86 hours after her cancellation, a clear violation, as we just mentioned, of the air passenger protection rules, which give airlines 2 days to do so. The proposed class action also states Air Canada misled its customers to convince them to accept a refund. Meantime, a second class action has been proposed against Air Canada and CUPE. It claims the union illegally continued its strike. A man has been arrested and charged after allegedly setting 3 separate fires in an East Vancouver neighborhood. VPD say the first happened Sunday afternoon at a home near East 1st and Victoria Drive. Multiple hedges and a fence were set ablaze, but the homeowner was able to put it out before the flames spread. Officers say there were 2 other fires that were set in the same area. Donald Lee Roswell is facing 3 counts of arson. A South Surrey family whose teenage daughter died by suicide is taking Fraser Health and the Surrey School District to court. They claim the institutions were negligent. The CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi reports the parents are hoping legal action will get them the answers they've been fighting months for.
Laura Donovan holds her Indigenous daughter's feather, a reminder of the 16-year-old's strength. In December of 2023, Felicity died by suicide. Since her death, the family has pleaded for answers.
We haven't had a chance to grieve because we've been fighting Surrey School District and Fraser Health.
That fight now escalating to the courts. The Donovan family is suing Fraser Health and the Surrey School District, alleging negligence and breach of duty.
I see Fraser Health as a place where truth goes to die, and the school district is basically a stonewall vault for truth. I'd like to shed some light in these dark places.
Felicity was part of a Fraser Health program called Start for Youth in Crisis. She met with a counselor once a week, but 2 days before she died, her weekly appointment was canceled because the counselor was sick.
Every child is supposed to matter, and I just feel like that she didn't to them.
For 18 months, the family has filed information requests and met with stakeholders. They say the district and the health authority made errors and won't acknowledge them.
They looked at us as a risk to be managed instead of looking at the information we provided them and seeing whether they could do better.
None of the allegations have been proven in court. The Surrey School District says it does not comment on ongoing legal matters. Fraser Health says it also can't comment, but extends its deepest condolences.
It's not something that they can hide from in court. It's something that they'll have to address.
The Donovans say they want systemic change for other families and Indigenous children who are at a higher risk of suicide.
I would like to see some accountability take place in that regard. I'm not going to let them bury Felicity's truth.
Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, South Surrey.
If you or someone you know needs help, the Suicide Crisis Helpline is available 24 hours a day. To reach the helpline, just call or text 988. If you need immediate assistance, call 911 or go to the nearest hospital. Nearly 1 year after a child was sexually assaulted in Delta, police say they are still looking for the suspect. They renewed their appeal for public assistance today, sharing a photo of 26-year-old Gurkarat Singh, who they warn may have changed his appearance. Singh is a subject of a Canada-wide warrant for sexual assault, invitation to sexual touching, and sexual interference of a person under 16. Authorities have shared few details on the allegations, except that they date back to September 12th, 2024. A landmark building that is home to Vancouver's prestigious Go Ballet Academy could be redeveloped into a 25-story building. The arts organization has submitted a rezoning application with the city to expand on its current home at Main and East 8th with a new mixed-use building. The plan would preserve the building's historic facade while adding student housing, upgraded studios, and retail spaces. Go Ballet says the new facility would allow them to expand programs and continue attracting dancers from across Canada and around the world. Joffrey Lakes will be closed to visitors for 1 month after the Labor Day long weekend. The temporary closure allows for local First Nations to reconnect to their land and carry out cultural and spiritual practices. This is the third time this year the popular park has been closed and is for a shorter period than requested. The province says this closure balances cultural practices and conservation goals with public access to the park. One of Vancouver's few outdoor pools, New Brighton, has suddenly been closed. The park board says the pool on Vancouver's east side is shuttered because of a mechanical issue. It's unclear if swimmers will be able to visit again before Labor Day, when the pool would have been closed. Unearthing Canada's military history, the World War II artifacts buried on the PNE grounds are officially returned to the armed forces. Also ahead, hometown hero NHL star Sam Reinhart brings the Stanley Cup to West Vancouver. One of those thrilled to see him, his grade 4 teacher. Ahead on CTV News at 6. Two-time NHL champ Sam Reinhart got his day with the Stanley Cup today, and just like last year, he brought it back to his hometown of West Vancouver. While he may have not have won it with the Canucks, Reinhart got a hero's welcome in the city where his hockey career began. CTV's Shannon Patterson has a story.
When the Stanley Cup arrived by boat, throngs of fans were there to welcome the iconic trophy and two-time winner Sam Reinhart to West Vancouver's Dundrave Pier.
Yeah, I just really want to see the Stanley Cup, and I'm excited to see Sam Reinhart.
Canucks fan, obviously, but the Cup hasn't come here with the Canucks yet, so I'm going to see it any way I can.
This is the second year in a row Reinhart has won the Cup with the Florida Panthers and brought it back to his hometown.
Thanks for coming out, guys. To have this opportunity to come back here and do this again is pretty special to me. To have my family all here is cool as well.
The one thing about the Cup is it just makes everyone happy. And it's so nice to be around happy people.
West Vancouver's mayor is not ashamed to admit he was geeking out. How does it feel standing beside Lord Stanley?
Well, I've got to tell you, it is pretty thrilling. I kind of get a bit of the shakes. It really is as beautiful up close as it appears from a distance, and it's so great to have Sam, his generosity of his time, bringing the Cup here, sharing it with all of these people. It's fantastic.
Hundreds of people made a donation to charity for an opportunity to have their photo taken with Reinhart and the Cup, including Sam's grade 4 teacher.
Tell me what it's like seeing your student bring home the Stanley Cup.
It's absolutely incredible. It's amazing. And I know how hard he worked, and he always was a great kid. So he's now a leader, isn't he?
When the Pruger boys had their turn to meet Sam and touch the cup,
I kissed it. So did I. His ring is so big, it's so cool.
what's it like to have it right here in West Van?
Oh, it's pretty exciting. It's amazing, yeah. Yeah, it's really nice. To see it, not with the Vancouver Canucks, but still in Vancouver is amazing.
Is Sam kind of West Vancouver's favorite son, even though he's not a Canuck?
Yes, Sam is definitely West Vancouver's favorite son. He's a true superstar in so many ways, and his skill, his determination, it's just an example for all of the young people in our community.
It wasn't just young people who turned out to see Reinhart. This dog got in on the action. Everyone loves a champion. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, West Vancouver.
It was an incredible discovery made during excavation work for the new PNE Amphitheatre. Historic military artifacts lost for more than a century, and today they were returned to the Canadian Armed Forces.
These are some of the oldest guns that are in British Columbia. The actual dates are from 1874 and 1875, when the province of BC was in its infancy.
More than a dozen guns and cannons were uncovered earlier this year at Hastings Park. They were used for assembling and training troops during the First World War. 2 of the cannons will remain on display at the PNE this year. The full collection will be preserved and exhibited at the Seaforth Highlanders Museum in Vancouver. And speaking of the PNE, that's where we find Anne Lou, and that's where we find a lot of good food. And every year, I get to live vicariously through you as you sample all the great food there.
Yes, that's right. And Mijang, it is the dog days of summer after all, the corn dog days of summer. Look at this beauty. This is called the Canadian corn dog. So it is battered with maple batter, topped off with maple syrup, as well as Canadian bacon, all chopped up, grilled up. It is absolutely delicious, and it looks amazing. Perfect day to have something like this at the PNE. We're seeing cloudy skies, cooler temperatures, but it is a great time to come down to the PNE. It started this weekend, first day of the work week today, so come here. We'll be here right through until 7 o'clock. So let's take a look at what we can expect as we head through the overnight. Overcast skies. Tomorrow, a really small chance of seeing some early morning showers. Definitely some cloud coverage, but then it does clear up quite nicely as we head through the afternoon, and we'll see a high of 21 degrees.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next vacation by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
And corn dogs are my favorite meat. And this one tops the list for sure. The bacon and the maple syrup, you can't go wrong. And we're going to keep with the dog theme, because coming up in the show, I'm going to be hanging out with the Superdogs.
Yeah, I like the idea of the bacon on top of the deep-fried corn dog. Maybe your arteries won't appreciate it, but the taste buds will, right?
Definitely.
All right, thanks, and we'll talk to you later. A Mission man's treasure was literally in the trash. Well, at least his wife's wedding and anniversary rings were. And by the time they realized it, the only chance to get them back was sifting through tons and tons of garbage at the dump. Sinjin Alexander has the story.
18 tons of rotting, steaming, stinking compost, and somewhere in this mound might be his wife's wedding rings.
She never takes them off.
But while washing her hands at a restaurant, Janine Van Ijseldijk realized they had somehow slipped off.
Left the restaurant. I'm like, I can't even wait for the check.
After a frantic search, the couple figured the rings must have slipped off into the compost. But by now, the garbage had already been collected.
I said I'd go to the dump in the morning and ask them if I could go through the compost pile.
He said, let me try. I said, okay.
In other words, just about everyone, including Denny Webster at the Mission Sanitary Landfill, thought this was a lost cause.
My brain was trying to figure out a way to tell them to
go buy his wife new wedding rings.
However, admiring the dedication,
I was grabbing it from there.
Webster dug out smaller piles for Steve Van Ysseldijk's smelly treasure hunt.
When he has something on his mind, he makes sure he does it.
Bit by bit, he began to recognize his own waste. A popcorn bag, he yelled out.
Oh, there's my sausages.
And if you can believe it, he suddenly had one ring. And within an hour, he had them both.
And it was all slimy with popcorn and butter.
So he called his wife and told her the news.
She basically broke down crying, cried all the way home, she said.
Well, yes, because I know how much he loves me, that he's willing to go through a rotten, stinky compost pile.
I don't think he really believed that he had found it, even though he had them both in his hands.
The chances of a happy ending were unlikely.
It's not the money, it's the sentimental value.
It's the money.
But Van Ysseldijk refused to believe the impossible.
I think he would have dove in here if I wasn't here.
St. John Alexander, CTV News, Mission.
Good for him. Why strange-looking rabbits in Colorado are sparking international interest. Also ahead.
This has been a privilege. Getting to know the people in this region has been the privilege of my life.
No surprise, Pierre Poilievre is heading back to the House of Commons in this conservative stronghold. We'll tell you how much he won by. That's ahead. Prime Minister Mark Carney participated in a virtual meeting of the so-called Coalition of the Willing today, aimed at supporting Ukraine. The video call was hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron. He briefed fellow leaders on yesterday's talks between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Mark Carney recently affirmed Canada's steadfast support for Ukraine, offering a $2 billion in military support. Canada's foreign minister also expressed support for Ukraine today at a meeting of Nordic countries in Finland.
There is an opportunity now to end Russia's illegal war in Ukraine. And as I said, security guarantees are essential to any just and lasting peace. The idea of a security guarantee, however, is not new this week.
Donald Trump promised security guarantees for Ukraine at his meeting with Zelensky on Monday. The U.S. president ruled out sending American troops, but suggested there could be some type of air support. Pierre Poilievre has secured his ticket back to Parliament, winning the Battle River Crowfoot by-election last night with 80% of the vote. Residents of the riding say they have high hopes for their high-profile representative. CTV's Tyler Barrow reports.
Pierre Poilievre is heading back to Ottawa after winning the rural riding of Battle River Crowfoot.
I really love the people of Battle River Crowfoot. They're the kind of what you see is what you get.
For voters in Camrose, where Poilievre celebrated his victory, they're happy to have him as their MP.
I'm very, very pleased and happy with how it all went.
I was glad he got in. I think he's a good man.
He toured the rural area and talked to all the local people, and I think he got a very good feedback.
Poilievre received a total of 80% of the vote. In second place was independent Bonnie Critchley, making up nearly 10% of total votes, a feat some political experts called significant. She remains critical of Damien Carrick, the MP who stepped aside for Poilievre to run in the riding.
This is our home. This is our riding. We're going to keep fighting for it. And Mr. Carrick, if he thinks we're going to welcome him back with open arms, is in for a rude awakening.
At the same time, political experts say people here won't notice much of a difference in their MPs.
It will give, Battle River Crowfoot profile, but will it mean much in a material way? I don't think so.
In Calgary, Poilievre's victory was celebrated with a watch party.
I'm from the Camrose area, and I want to get this leader in for Canada.
We've seen a drift to the left, and most of us have an appetite for common sense conservative values. For the over 40,000 people who voted for Poilievre, along with conservative supporters across the country, they can expect to see him back in the House of Commons on September 15th when the fall sitting begins. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Camrose.
An extremely close call for a surfer who survives a shark attack. We'll show you what the shark did to his surfboard. Also ahead.
Antler-looking horns.
These bunnies that had barnacles on them.
Strange-looking bunnies have been spotted in Colorado. Images that have people all over the world scratching their heads. What experts say is the cause. Next. Plus, the humanoid has Hollywood credits, federal contracts, and a mission to change the world. How an Ontario company is developing advanced Canadian-made robots. Stay with us. A remarkable sight today in northern Sweden where a 113-year-old church was lifted from its foundation and moved down a highway. The historic church is being relocated because the ground it was on is sinking. Thanks to the world's largest underground ore mine, there is a 30-year project to relocate thousands of people and buildings from the city of Kiruna. The mine operator spent the last year widening the road to make the move possible as the church moves 5 kilometers to its new home. Photos and videos of some strange rapids in Colorado have got some people talking. Scientists say it's the product of a virus that researchers have been looking at for years. Amanda Gilbert explains.
Something strange in Fort Collins has captured the world's attention.
Antlers, antler-looking horns.
These bunnies that had barnacles on them.
One of my neighborhood bunnies looked a little different.
A lot of people just kind of scratch their heads and it's like, what's going on with the wildlife in Colorado?
Since then, Colorado Parks and Wildlife spokesperson Kara Van Hoos says people worldwide have reached out about zombie or demon rabbits.
People from, the UK have reached out. I think I did an interview with somebody from India. A lot of people are asking if it's even real. Sometimes they think it's AI.
But she says this is a virus that's been around for years, spread between rabbits, mainly through ticks, mosquitoes, and fleas.
This is a normal virus that happens every summer.
CSU Dean of the Warner College of Natural Resources, Dr. Alonzo Aguirre, says this is only spread between rabbits, but there are other similar viruses found in different animals.
There's many species that have papillomaviruses, including deer, cattle, horses.
He says it's similar to HPV in people, which is human papillomavirus.
But not the same virus. And it's being used as the first model to study human papillomavirus type 1. And they're very helpful to develop vaccines, treatments.
What's strange,
it doesn't look pretty.
It's also just a part of nature.
To Australia now, where a surfer somehow escaped injury after he was attacked by a shark. That includes a photo you've got to see to believe. This is the photo. The surfboard is nearly in 2 pieces after the large shark bite. Surfing legend Kelly Slater said the injury-free escape was incredible. An organization in the area dedicated to water safety said a boy was bitten by a shark in the same location 2 months ago. The organization says drones were set up to survey the ocean after the incident. Robots designed to look and move like people are being used to address critical challenges in hazardous industries. The global market for humanoid robots is expected to grow to more than $15 billion US in the next 5 years. And as CTV's Spencer Turcott tells us, an Ontario company is working to make sure Canada is at the forefront.
A quick stretch of the fingers.
The range of motion is incredible.
And these robots are ready to work. At Mercy Robotics in Cambridge, Tarek Rahim and his team have developed human-like robots that can do human tasks.
Everything is Mercy designed, and we're really proud of it.
Mercy says their robots are already addressing critical Canadian challenges like gathering data for remote First Nations water plants, providing support in aging care facilities, and filling essential roles in precarious industries.
These robots are going to tackle the repetitive, monotonous jobs. And most importantly, they're going to handle the back-breaking labor that humans should really not be doing.
Rahim says people shouldn't worry about the humanoids taking human jobs. They may replace some roles, but he says with any emerging technology, new job opportunities arise. That's backed by global humanoid robot market projections, which show it growing from $2.92 billion this year to $15.26 billion by 2030.
And those are the most conservative estimates, so I wouldn't fear too much about a dystopian future with no employment opportunities.
The robot moves around on wheels with the help of a joystick.
The reason we do wheel designs is because they're inherently stable. You cannot knock this guy over.
In the manufacturing sector, Canada ranked 12th in robot installations behind countries like the U.S. and Mexico. Yet Mercy says they have the tech to catapult Canada to the top of the world rankings.
In a way, it's the most rewarding feeling ever. So I imagine that's what having children feels like.
Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Cambridge.
A trip to the hardware store will soon cost you more, which major retailer says the tariff war will push prices up also.
The last thing anyone wants is to be stuck on the side of a road in a remote area with no cell phone service.
A nasty surprise for a couple that got a flat tire. Many cars don't come with a spare tire anymore. They're warning to others ahead. Here's a look at today's markets. The Canadian dollar was down, still trading at 72 cents to the American dollar. Oil lost 93 cents, closing at $61.77 U.S. a barrel. Gold was down nearly $20. The TSX ended the day lower, losing 98 points. The Dow Jones finished higher by 10 points. The cost of a run to Home Depot here in Canada is going up as the renovation giant says all of its markets are likely to be affected by a price hike because of Donald Trump's tariffs. Until now, America's largest home improvement retailer has limited what it has said about the impact of tariffs on its prices. But after reporting quarterly results today, CFO Richard McPhail said Home Depot would have to implement some price increases as a result of the Trump administration's taxes on imports. The search for the next Airbud has begun, and contestants are submitting their applications. The Airbud family is searching for a purebred golden retriever to star in Airbud Returns, carrying the 14-film franchise forward. Producers say the golden must embody the charm and athleticism of the original Airbud star and ideally would love basketball. The deadline to submit an application is this Friday. Let's check in with Anne. Too bad there's no show about Boston Terriers, right, Anne?
Yeah, exactly. Lucy would definitely be able to win that competition. But speaking of dogs, I'm pretty sure we would find some Airbuds over here at Superdogs. Believe it or not, Mijung, in their 49th consecutive year at the PNE. They've got a great show for everyone, young and old. And of course, it's my favorite show and favorite time of year right here at the PNE. So before we get into the Superdogs, let's take a look at our forecast and what we can expect for the next few days. Starting off with our satellite radar imagery, we do have a ridge of high pressure building offshore. That will slowly clear things out of the way as we head into tomorrow and heat things up as we head into the second half of the work week. So our weather shows us cloudy skies right now, and that's what we can expect as we head through the overnight. Into tomorrow morning, you can see a little bits of green popping up, so a few showers at higher elevations, and then it clears up quite nicely as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Lots of sunshine in store. Temperatures is still just around the seasonal mark, so it won't really warm up until we head into Thursday. The forecast for the North Island looking nice and bright. Port Hardy right down to Campbell River and Comox. We're looking at temperatures between 18 and 21 degrees. For the South Island, blue skies, sunshine, 19 degrees for Tofino. A few clouds from Port Alberni right down to Victoria. Temperatures between 20 and 24. Early morning showers clearing out of the way for the Sunshine Coast as well up the Sea to Sky Highway with temperatures between 21 and 22. And across the lower mainland, it will start off with some cloud. Clears up nicely. Temperatures between 21 and 22 degrees. Mostly sunny skies heading into Thursday at 23, and then it heats up. Look at those inland temperatures for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday. Temperatures between 30 and 33 degrees inland. Tuesday, we'll see sunny skies. Temperatures between 24 and 28 degrees. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Vacations for air, land, and sea vacations. So we're here right now. At Superdogs Agrodome at the PNE, and they have great performances. With us tonight is Kara and Trick, and they've got a freestyle dance. Take a look at them. They are absolutely phenomenal. She has 5 dogs that she trains and that she brings here to the PNE that she rotates out. This is Trick, and look at him go. He can jump, he can dance, he can swing. And just a reminder for everyone who hasn't been to the Superdogs before, these are family dogs that are trained by the owner. So they travel with the owner, they live with the owner. This isn't a circus whatsoever. This is just lots of love between an animal and their owner. And look at that! Yay! Yay, Trick and Kara, that's amazing! So good. So would Trick be able to jump on my back? Sure. All right, let's see what we can do. Trick, let's do this.
Can you come up? Stay.
He did it! There you go, Mijang. I think it's time for me to join the Superdogs. I'm not as good, but with Trick, I think I can make it to the show.
Yeah, well, we'll see if Lucy could aspire to those kinds of stunts. That's a lot of work to train your dog like that.
Yeah, definitely. And she's got 5 on the go here at Superdogs as well. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the Superdogs always a popular show. Thanks a lot, Anne. Well, if you've got a flat tire, you might think a spare is waiting in the trunk, but that's not always the case. Many vehicles, including rentals, don't come with one anymore. And for some drivers, that surprise has left them stranded. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
You kind of have this assumption, or at least we have the assumption, that there would be a spare tire.
Lisa Glass and her partner Matt Barber of Toronto recently spent 10 days in Newfoundland. They rented a car in St. John's to drive to Trinity. But along the way, they noticed one of the rental car's tires was losing air pressure.
It kept going down, and then overnight, that night, it completely lost pressure, and we woke up the next morning and the tire was flat.
They called the company they rented the car from, but couldn't get a response, so they decided to change the tire themselves.
He went out to the trunk and opened it up, and there was no spare.
Glass feels if a car doesn't have a spare, the driver should be made aware of it at the time of the rental.
The last thing anyone wants is to be stuck on the side of a road in a remote area with no cell phone service, with no spare.
CTV News reached out to Budget Car Rental but did not get a reply. However, it does say on their website the manufacturer may not have equipped your car with a spare tire. It may have an inflator and seal kit, which you can use to temporarily address a tire leak so you can return to the nearest rental location. You should check the vehicle before you leave with the car. Glass says while the rental car did have a sealant kit, it was not enough to repair the tire. Along with inflator kits, a car may also have a smaller size donut spare, and some luxury cars may have run flat tires, which allow you to drive about 80 kilometers to get help. It's not just rental cars. You should check your own car too.
In an effort from the manufacturers to lower production costs and reduce weight for fuel economy, they're just leaving the spare tire out.
Glass says with the help of Good Samaritans, the car was towed to a shop. The tire was patched and they were back on the road, but she wanted to warn others when renting a car, check if there's a spare.
I want people to know that when they rent a car, there's not necessarily a spare tire in the trunk.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
A cheeky creature becomes a star of an underwater exploration. That story's still ahead. And fuzzy, large and small, they're going to weigh them all. A wild time at the London Zoo's annual weigh-in day coming up. Plus, inspiring student. Adam finds out the story behind a mother of 2 who returned to school more than 2 decades after dropping out. Coming up on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's a preview of CTV Morning Live. Air
Canada has a tentative deal with its flight attendants, but the strike's impact could linger. Wednesday on CTV Morning Live, how the future of labor negotiations could be shaped by how the union handled the walkout. Plus, how to decipher the news headlines so you can make smarter financial decisions. The decisions that could be putting your money at risk. We'll see you in the morning.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live, weekdays 6 to 9.
A black bear went on a midday snack run, breaking into a car in search of something sweet. Luckily, no one was inside this car in North Carolina when the furry intruder popped open the door and started rummaging around. There was no picnic basket in sight, though, only finding an empty seltzer can and a bottle of perfume. So the bear came out empty-pawed and casually strolled back up a hill. Better luck next time. It was a big day for thousands of animals at the London Zoo. Important statistics were collected on everything from giant tortoises to penguins and everything in between. This was weigh-in day at the zoo in the UK capital. It's the annual health check for 10,000 animals across more than 400 species. Everything from the smallest snail to the tallest giraffe, and its weight and measurements carefully recorded. It's also a way to track growth and monitor pregnancies. The results are shared with conservationists around the world through a global database. Be tricky getting a giraffe to step on a scale.
I don't like raccoons.
No.
No, it's just creepy.
I know. Some people think they're cute, but they're kind of a nuisance.
Yeah.
Okay, a cheeky starfish is stealing the spotlight after an underwater expedition off the coast of Argentina. The unusual-looking starfish with its extra round shape became the star of a deep-sea voyage exploring the Mar del Plata Canyon. Scientists used a remotely operated vehicle to capture the creature more than 3,500 meters below the surface. And while researchers also spotted some unique lobsters and coral, it's the cheeky starfish that has everyone talking.
Cute. Looks like a little baby's bottom.
Oh, it must have had a very good meal or something. It's gained a few pounds, right? Okay, Mary, what's coming up tonight?
Mijang, BC Hydro crews are still working to restore power to a small community on Vancouver Island after the Mount Underwood wildfire destroyed power lines. More than 500 customers are still without power in Bamfield and 2 First Nation communities. It's expected power will not be restored until August 30th, but that timeline may change. We'll have more at 11:30.
All right, thanks a lot, Mary. Well, finally, Adam shows us how a Maple Ridge mom who once struggled to finish school is now showing her sons the importance of never giving up. Her journey back to the classroom is proof that it's never too late to rewrite your story. On tonight's Encore, Sawatsky sign off.
Chani Gonzalez will never forget that day she had to have that tough talk with her sons about school.
They were both kind of grappling to keep up and stay afloat.
Well, both Deshaun and Damani had been mourning the loss of a couple close family members. They also questioned their mom's lecture about the value of education.
And then my brother was the one who said, okay, well, you didn't graduate and we're fine.
Well, the boys didn't realize how much their single mom was actually struggling. They did know Chani had dropped out of school at 14.
That was a slap in the face where I was like, okay, I need to do something proactive.
Well, Chani considered how to move forward. She couldn't help but look back.
My parents were addicts, but I had more love than most kids.
But love couldn't stop their family from enduring the ravages of addiction, poverty, and homelessness, which forced Chani to start working 3 jobs instead of going to school.
I always wanted to go back. I always did, but life just kept happening.
While Chani experienced too many bad things over the next few years, she also welcomed 2 of the greatest and was determined to do what was best for her boys.
So I was like, if I go back and I try to get A's and B's, will you try to match me?
And I was like, yeah, because I didn't think she actually would. Oh, I was wrong. I was so wrong.
Chani returned to school 23 years after she left and found herself juggling her kids, her homework, and facing her fears of failure.
There was days I went to class and I was crying to my teacher like, I can't do this.
Well, Channy's teachers inspired her to persevere. After completing enough courses to finally graduate, she inspired them to award her with 4 bursaries and honor her as valedictorian.
It helped me to gain back my confidence and realize my potential.
I always was just kind of satisfied with what I had, which was the least. And now I have a taste of, like, maybe I can do something in the world.
Well, Channy's now planning to go to college to pursue a career in healthcare, and her boys couldn't be more proud of her accomplishments and their academic improvements. They're all grateful for the life lesson they were brave enough to teach each other.
The only time you fail is when you kind of let yourself fail. No matter what can hit you in life, like, you can always bounce back.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Maple Ridge.
Such an amazing story.
Yeah, what a great inspiration. Kids do what their parents do, not what they say.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's bring in Anne, who is now become a wanted person at the Peony. What have you done now, Anne?
Well, everything. That's the theme of this year's show, Wild Wild Woof, the Superdogs here at the Peony. So catch them. And the owner of Superdogs wrote a cool little book, so you can have your own little Superdog and go on adventures with little Buttercup. So very cool. We'll be here all week long. Meech,
Yeah,
Mary?
and the weather is going to be great. Check out the fair this year. Lots of sunshine as well. All right, thanks, Anne. And Mary's back at 11:30.